Every sane person without what they call Trump derangement syndrome, you know what that is? It's a great honor. I had a disease named after me. Trump derangement syndrome wants to get back to how great we had it under the Trump administration.
Okay, so the left is at it again with their fake news headlines. This time they're running a hoax, twisting Trump's words, saying that there's going to be a bloodbath in the country. They're saying that Trump is threatening physical violence against the country if he's not reelected. But we're going to get into the full context of the video. But let's back up a bit. Why is the media able to get away with this? Because they have a bunch of NPCs, they have a bunch of clapping seals who just go along with everything. People who are sheep, easily brainwashed. So the left, they can push anything down to the state-run media, to the left-wing media. They can push hoax like the January 6th hoax, where Trump actually tried to send a National Guard, was blocked, where Trump actually said peacefully, let your voices be heard. Oh, Trump, he tried to cause an insurrection. He tried to destroy democracy. When he said there were good people on both sides. Oh, Trump, he's racist. He defended the KKK when he clearly denounced the KKK. So they get away with this because they have a bunch of NPCs who are just going to push Trump hatred. These people are completely deranged. So he was in Ohio campaigning and supporting one of the Senate candidates there. And he started talking about the auto industry, how terrible it is, how we're losing jobs, how all the manufacturing has been gutted in the United States, sent to Mexico, sent to other countries, how China is building up their manufacturing. And he said, paraphrasing, if things don't change, if we keep the status quo with Joe Biden's policies, there's going to be an economic bloodbath in the auto industry. So let's take a look at the full context of the video.
And the head of the United Auto Workers never probably shook hands with a Republican before. They're destroying. You know, Mexico has taken over a period of 30 years, 34% of the automobile manufacturing business in our country. Think of it. Went to Mexico. China now is building a couple of massive plants where they're going to build the cars in Mexico and they think that they're going to sell those cars into the United States with no tax at the border. Let me tell you something to China. If you're listening, President Xi, and you and I are friends, but he understands the way I deal, those big monster car manufacturing plants that you're building in Mexico right now, and you think you're going to get that, you're going to not hire Americans, and you're going to sell the cars to us now, we're going to put a 100% tariff on every single car that comes across the line, and you're not going to be able to sell those cars. If I get elected, now if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath for the whole, that's going to be the least of it. It's going to be a bloodbath for the country. That'll be the least of it. But they're not going to sell those cars. They're building massive factories. A friend of mine, all he does is build car manufacturing plants. He's the biggest in the world. I mean, honestly, I joke about it. He can't walk across the street. In that way, he's like Biden. But for building a plant, he can do the greatest plants in the world, right? That's all he cares about. I said, I'd like to see one of your plants recently. I said, I'd like to see, where can we go? Well, we have to travel to Mexico. I said, why Mexico? He said, because that's where the big plants are building. China's building really big plants in Mexico, and Mexico's building. What about here? Well, we're building much smaller plants here. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? So what they're saying, Jim Jordan, is that we're going to make cars in Mexico, and they're going to do, you're not going to stand for that, Bernie? JD, I have a feeling JD's not big into that policy. 100% tariff, they won't sell any cars over here. And I'll tell them, if they want to build a plant in Michigan, in Ohio, in South Carolina, they can, using American workers. They can. They can't send Chinese workers over here, which they sometimes do. But if they want to do that, we're welcome, right? But they're not going to build them in Mexico, and they're not going to do that. We're going to tariff them at 100%, just like I've done. I saved the steel industry. The people that like me the most are the steel companies. But now I've been out for a little while, and guess what? United States Steel, 50 years, 60 years ago, maybe the greatest company in the world, was just sold to Japan. How do you like that? U.S. Steel, owned and controlled by Japan. I wouldn't have allowed it to happen. Hopefully they won't allow it to happen.
So the media, they took a piece of what he said, they clipped it, and they ran with it. Damn what he said about the industry, damn all the truth he was telling about how manufacturing in the United States is being gutted. Let's just take a piece of a phrase, because nobody was going to listen to the actual speech, and then let's twist it. So let's look at some of these headlines. This is just YouTube right here. So the Guardian, at least they're being a little bit honest. But we got the Telegraph. Trump warns a bloodbath if he loses presidential election. Trump warns it'll be a bloodbath if he's not elected in November. Then Biden's campaign took advantage of this. And Biden's campaign said, oh yeah, Trump, he's trying to cause another January 6th. How should prosecutors, courts respond to Trump's promise if a bloodbath if he loses election? David Corn slams Trump's claim of a bloodbath if he loses presidential election. And you can see New York Times, ABC News, all of these left-wing media outlets, basically state-run television. They talk about Russia state television or North Korea state television. I don't think any country matches the United States when it comes to propaganda, because god damn, it's insane. So now let's look at this TikTok influencer, quote-unquote influencer, who's really a paid actor, who was actually busted and exposed as being a shield for the Democrat Party, specifically Joe Biden. So let's listen to what this fool has to say. And we're going to look at some of the comments so you guys can get an idea of just how many sheep there are in the country.
The American people and people who don't like him. At his rally today, he said that there's going to be, quote, a bloodbath if he loses in November. It's crazy. Take a look at the clip.
And you're not going to be able to sell those guns. If I get elected, now if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath for the whole... That's going to be the least of it. It's going to be a bloodbath for the country. That'll be the least of it. But they're not going to sell those cars. They're building massive factories. A friend of mine...
Yeah, a bloodbath, according to Donald Trump. Do you folks see what he's doing here? He's trying to scare people into supporting him or staying quiet and not making their voices heard. And to that, I say, screw you, Donald Trump. You don't get...
So you can see how they clipped it. I'm surprised that he showed a piece of the end that shows he was actually talking about the car industry. They didn't clip it properly. They tried to twist it. He kind of messed up in his clipping here, but let's look at some of these comments. I mean, this should set off alarm bells. Wake up. She got the nerve to tell people to wake up. America's in deep trouble. Even if he loses, he's going to claim it was rigged. Unbelievable that this Trump is not in jail. I can't wait till we never hear from him again. How is it legal? Why hasn't the Republican senators and representatives responded to this? Jeez. Even his crowd was a bit silent when he said it. This guy in the back looking fit. What the hell are y'all talking about? The fact that he's under investigation for January 6th and he just said that he's done. I know I shouldn't be shocked, but I'm shocked. None of these people will watch the speech. They're just going to take a little clip and then they're going to say, oh, Trump is evil. Not realizing that they've been duped. And there's that old saying that it's easy to fool a person, but it's damn near impossible to convince somebody that they've been fooled. That's why with people like this, I don't even try to debate people like this. I don't try to convince them, oh, no, look at the full context. I don't try to convince them, oh, you should give Trump a chance. They're done. When people have been brainwashed to disagree, I don't waste my time on them. Now let's look at this Twitter video. So this one here is going to show that these people are full-blown hypocrites, man. So the left uses the word bloodbath all the time. In fact, they just used it last week. They used bloodbath in the same context. In fact, before this, let me pull up the actual definition of bloodbath. Look at that bottom definition. A major economic disaster. Who knew that we can use the word bloodbath in terms of economic disaster? I think everybody knew. Now let's look at the left-wing media using the term bloodbath. Now they're trying to claim, oh, it means violence. He's going to destroy the country. But let's listen to these fools.
Donald Trump's allies have now ordered mass layoffs at the Republican National Committee. It comes just days after Trump's allies, including his daughter-in-law, took command of the RNC. Headlines calling it a, quote, bloodbath. Bloodbath.
Bloodbath.
Politico's now describing it as less a shakeup, more a bloodbath. 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 What's happening?
I mean, it is. It's a bloodbath. Bloodbath. Bloodbath.
What did you think about Donald Trump's bloodbath comments? And I must note, look, Donald Trump campaign says that he was talking about an economic bloodbath.
Yeah.
I don't know if I buy that, but that is in fact what the campaign said.
He uses these high impact words that have either the direct or implicit tone of violence, right? So at this point in the game, trying to parse a word like bloodbath strikes me as being entirely absurd. This is violence, violence, violence. So when he says the word bloodbath,
wow,
he knows what he's doing. And then when he says, you'll never have another election again if I don't win, well, that too has a tone of violence to it as well. The only way to take power would then be to use violence if there are no elections.
We know he has a way of using these words and to sort of incite the kind of response from his audience, but there is meaning behind those words. Because as I said, my mom said, well, he's a grown man. So
I don't know what the hell this guy's talking about, but yeah, there you have it, man. These fools, they're pushing propaganda. Oh, I don't know if I buy it. These people know exactly what they're doing, but they're deceitful. They're full-blown evil sacks of shit. They're making a choice to lie to the American people. Again, nobody in the world matches the United States when it comes to state-run propaganda. So you could talk about all those other countries that the United States, quote-unquote, enemies, ops, whatever. Nobody matches. And the fact that so many NPCs, so many people fall for this crap, they take one little clip and run with it for years. We still hear about this J6 hoax. It was a full-blown hoax. But they pushed it out early and brainwashed so many people that they'll never let it down. Oh, he's an insurrectionist. Oh, there's going to be a bloodbath. He's violent. These people are idiots, man. And like I said, the people who fall for this, I don't waste my time on them. There's no helping them. They've been fooled. They've been brainwashed so much to the point that it's a waste of time to try to debate them. It's a waste of time to try to show. No, just watch the whole video. Waste of time. So this video is not even for people like that, because even if they watch the full context, they're still going to believe, oh, no, he was talking about January 6th, part 2. But let me know what you guys think about this. Leave me your thoughts below. Share the video. Thanks for watching.